Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Dana. I am a mama to four, two of which I currently homeschool. I have a first grader this year, as well as a kindergartner, and then a 2-year-old, and then the newest addition, who's 3 weeks old. As you can tell from the title down below, I'm going to be sharing with you the things that I kind of want to see change for the upcoming school year. I love, honestly, for that week before I know that we're going to be planning on starting school for the new year, I honestly like taking a step back. Honestly, I will probably spend 1 or 2 days kind of just actively and intentionally thinking about and reflecting about the previous year's school experiences. I kind of think about what worked for us, what maybe not worked for us, what the kids liked, what they didn't like, what I liked or didn't like about the flow and things like that. And so I kind of base our new school choices and our new rhythm and our new routines and everything based off of the previous year. So I thought I would share with you some of the things that we're going to be changing this year. One of which I'm actually really sad about, but also excited, so we'll get into that. But I not only wanted to share with you what we're going to be changing, and they're little things, but I thought I would go ahead and talk about them anyway. I not only wanted to share with you what we're changing, but the reasoning why behind the change. But yes, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So the first thing that I'm going to implement differently this year that we did not last year, that is reverse planning. This is the first time actually intentionally reverse planning, and because I have a first grader this year, this is my first year of actually having to do record keeping for him specifically. So I'm going to do that by reverse planning, and kind of what that is, or what I'm going to do with that, is at the end of every day write down everything that we did accomplish for that day instead of vice versa. So typically in previous years I've kind of had an outline of what we wanted to get done for the day, and I just found that for me personally it was a little bit more stressful because I was kind of working on making sure we got everything done on the list, making sure everything was like all the like T's were crossed and I's were dotted and things like that at the end of the day. Whereas, and I think this year I want to be more intentional with just writing what we did get done and kind of look at the glass more half full, if that makes sense, when it comes to our homeschool days, and not really just solely focus on the academics. And also on the reverse planning, writing down what we did get done for the day instead of vice versa. I also wanted to write down and really be more intentional with the other things that were not just academic. So yes, it's important to make sure that the things written down at the end of the day are, you know, your math, writing, and things like that. I also want to be more specific and intentional with writing down the other big accomplishments that they do on a day-to-day basis. What I mean by that is, did they serve one another with a happy heart? Like writing that down, because that's a huge character building thing. And just like highlighting and celebrating those big character things as well, not just the academics. If they did something to help somebody, write that one down. If they built this amazing Lego thing and engineered it by themselves, you write that down. And so just kind of acknowledging to my little people that they do other big things too, that what it deserves to be written down is not just the academics, but it's this whole life thing as well. So it's going to require for me a little bit more time, but I do enjoy writing. I may not be very, very good at it, but I do enjoy writing and journaling, and that's just a really fun way for me to not just be able to be a good record keeper for my kiddos' academics, but also just to celebrate those big things too, because life is more than the 3 R's. The second thing that we are going to be doing differently this year, oh my goodness, and this is the one thing that I was kind of sad about saying goodbye to, but also excited. So that is, we're not going to be doing morning basket this year. Last year we did a lot of different things with the morning basket, or I always say last year, but last school semester, I guess you could say. We did implement the morning basket, and we did enjoy it, and we loved all the extra little things. However, I found that towards the later end of the semester and towards like the summer, once we started getting into summer, when my kiddos just wanted to kind of be outside playing, I kind of came to the realization that with morning basket, at least for our family and our kiddos, while I loved doing all the extra curriculars and extra activities and things like that, I found that with my kiddos, they would have fun doing the morning basket, but when it came to actually doing the actual school, they were already kind of tired, and they were all ready to go and do their free play and exploration and free, like, just, yes, they're wonderful free playing selves. I love how much they love to play. But anyway, I found that by the time we actually finished all of our morning basket activities, they were done. They were like, okay, we're done with school. And because a lot of the morning basket activities did take, half an hour or more, and during the little years, really, it's just like that hour is really their limit before they need a break to come back to the next thing type thing. So we're not going to be doing morning basket this year, and even though I loved the time of life and the phases and the memories that all those activities brought us, I know that my little people kind of just want to get their school done and then move on for the day. However, we are going to still implement the idea of it, only we're going to be doing it in the evening. So this is the exciting part that I am really looking forward to doing this year, is we're going to be implementing kind of an evening basket, so to speak, because our family specifically, especially our little people, and then even my husband and I together, we love our evenings. We do. We treasure the time. It's very valuable to us. And having our morning basket be in the evening, I think is going to be a really valuable thing for our family. So in our morning baskets, what we're planning so far for this year anyway, we're going to be doing our unit studies in the evening. And for unit studies for our family, that is more of a family subject anyway. And because the first unit study that we are going to be doing has to do with like character building and communication, things like that, what a great family thing to do together at night, right? And so we are so excited to kind of implement that, have the whole family sit down and do that, whether it be reading the devotion stories together, reading the character building stories together, and things like that, and just really build a valuable kind of bedtime routine. Now our family, we don't have a really strict bedtime. It's just kind of whenever the kids get tired. But we do kind of start that children's hour process probably around 8-ish. So I love it. My husband and I always refer to kind of that evening time, getting the kiddos ready for bed, our evening routine. It takes us a little over an hour for that evening routine, and we always love referring to that hour as the children's hour. It's such a beautiful hour. It's almost like the golden hour of the day, where my husband and I are both just unplugged. Our sole focus is the kids, and we try to not have, I say try because there's some evenings it doesn't always work like this, but we try to not have any of those other distractions or anything like that. And that evening and that hour may look differently every single night. So in the summer, it might look like we're just all outside together, watching the kids catch lightning bugs and hanging outside till the sun sets. And sometimes those are later evenings because in the summer, that obviously the sun doesn't go down until around 9, 10 sometimes. And so just having those memories, and so I am really excited to incorporate the evening basket to that time. And for the summer, before it actually hits the end of the summer here, we're going to be doing a lot more like nature studies outside in the evening and things like that. Just some fun family topics, and then bringing it inside to where when we are actually getting ready to go to bed and having that golden hour with our kiddos, and that will be when we actually pull out the unit studies and the books and things like that. And it's a great way too to kind of wind the kids down before they do go to sleep, because we always do story time pretty much every single night with them anyway. So this is just a fun way to kind of intentionally teach them and intentionally pour into them, whether it be, like I said, the character stories and Bible stories. And yeah, just reading some great books. I know when I was little, some of my favorite stories that I remember like to the T are ones that my dad read us for devotions at night or in the morning, but specifically at night. Like I really did cherish those story time hours where he just took the time and like read to us, and it was so precious. So we're gonna try to establish that little bit of an evening routine basket, and I'm gonna share with you what is going to be in that basket in probably my next video. But yeah, that's the second thing we're going to be doing, is instead of a morning basket, changing over to the evening. The third thing, and this is not necessarily an actual thing I'm going to try to implement for the upcoming school year. This is almost like a mentality that I want to implement, and this is for me personally as the homeschool mama, is I really, it's going to be kind of probably challenging, but I want to really focus not so much on finishing a book, but rather the quality of are we actually growing from this book? Are we actually like learning new things from this curriculum? I became really concerned last year with like, oh my goodness, we have to finish this curriculum on time, we have to finish this, we have this many more lessons before we can be done with it. And I want to try to implement a different mindset this year for me personally. And for example, for last year, we actually did not end up finishing the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten language arts curriculum. I was hoping to, like I said, different mindset trying to implement here. But my little guy really advanced in his reading simply by just reading. He just started reading. We read our readers, we did our Abeka readers, we of course read all the readers from the Good and the Beautiful, his actual grade level readers and everything like that. And his reading honestly just advanced that way. It didn't really have anything to do with the curriculum. And so because of that, I kind of wanted to go into this year with a different mindset of, you know, seeing them grow and get better at a subject, become a master at a subject, whether that be math or writing or reading or something like that. It doesn't always have to be because of a said curriculum. And so I'm trying to get out of the mindset of, you know what, if he doesn't finish the math book, but he's excelling with, you know, whether it be additional facts, he can like read them off in his head, or multiplication facts and things like that. But especially if I can already vividly tell that they're already excelling and they're speeding through things, then I'm trying to get into the mindset of like, that's fine if they don't finish a curriculum. Like, that's fine. Like, my goal at the end of the school year is to not have the front A to front, like the back of the cover finished. Like, I don't want that to be my goal this year. I kind of just want to see growth and look at the bigger picture more instead of at the little day-to-day, like, oh my goodness, we didn't get this lesson done, and things like that. So looking at the broader, bigger picture then for our homeschool is more than just completing that book, but actually seeing the growth, like I mentioned in my example previously from last year for my now first grader. Seeing him grow and excel and get so fluent in his reading level without even finishing the curriculum was really honestly what my kind of homeschool mama heart needed, because I didn't want it to be like up to the curriculum on how my child's success was measured, if that makes sense. So I want to have a different mindset this year of not stressing out too much about the actual finishing all the curriculum, if that makes sense. So trying to look at the bigger picture this year. So the other thing I wanted to implement this year, and this is something that I know for me and my personality, I'm probably going to really struggle with, but I would like to do it if my kiddos want to do it, and that's a big difference too. I am really introverted outside in the public sphere of things. I really don't like being around too many people. It takes a lot out of me. Anyway, the thing I wanted to try to implement this year is to do more field trips, or to see if my kiddos are interested in joining any like little clubs or anything like that. I actually met a couple mamas that had a kind of like a nature club that I know my kiddos would absolutely adore. And it's honestly just a bunch of mamas who meet at a park with their little ones, and they let the little ones explore and play together, but all in nature. They bring their little insect nets and field guides, and they explore nature together with like people their own age. And so I thought about doing something like that. I know the kiddos would love and adore it. And then it's just something that I have to ask their input and opinion about, if that's something that they would probably want to do. I know my little guy is also kind of like me in personality-wise, where we'll go to the park and there'll be like one or two people in the park, and he's like, no, we'll come back another day. There's too many people here. And there's like 2 people out, you know? But my daughter she looks at it the opposite way. If she sees people in the park, she's like, hey, let's make new friends. And I'm like, yay. So anyway, me and my son are like, yay, we're trying to be all excited that there's people there. But yeah, they're just different personalities. So I know that the nature club thing would be something so fun for my daughter. And I'd have to ask my son if he would also be into it, because he loves the great outdoors and exploring. He practically lives outside in the summer. And they love hunting for their nature treasures. That's just something that they will do for hours and hours a day. But I have to just make sure that he's okay with, are you okay doing this with other kids? Because I don't know if he would be or not, but that'd be something that if I was there with him, that he could maybe enjoy more, and things like that. So definitely more field trips. I'm really highly considering doing the nature club thing with them. I'm not a huge fan of homeschool co-ops. Now we do have a lot of homeschool co-ops near us. That's just not something that I can really commit to, because like I said, with the newborn, toddler, and 2 little people phases, it's just not something that I want to commit to and be judged on for not arriving or appearing for maybe more than once a month. So that's not something I'm going to do yet. Maybe when the kiddos get older, we can do that. But for now, we'll probably just end up doing the nature club, because I think the kiddos would really enjoy that. The other thing I want to try implementing this year, and this kind of goes along with like that reverse planning, but it also doesn't. It's like the opposite, and that is actually having a schedule written out for the kiddos. And when I mean schedule, I mean an actual just like daily rhythm. I actually shared kind of our daily rhythm last year, I believe, and what that looked like in our home. And we're going to be doing the same thing this year. We're not going to have an actual hour by hour schedule. I found, especially with this phase in life with little people and with whether or not the baby sleeps well or how I'm doing if I didn't sleep at all that night, it doesn't work well for our family to do any type of actual hour by hour block scheduling or anything like that. It just doesn't. And so we do love a rhythm though, and the kids having the expectation of when they get up, we're gonna have breakfast, and we're gonna maybe have a little story time and cuddling on the couch with mommy, and then we're gonna flow right into school and then flow straight from school into kind of like that free time play while we make lunch. So I want them to still have the actual flow and rhythm where it's the same thing every single day so they know what to expect, but it's not gonna be an hour by hour schedule. But anyway, I said a schedule for the kids, but I want to be able to actually write out what we're gonna be doing every day. So even though the timing of when we start is going to be different, the actual flow and rhythm will not be. So I have a wall calendar, and I mentioned this in my last video that I was going to kind of tell you a little bit about what we're going to use it for. But I have a large wall calendar that I put on the back of our kitchen door. And even if all I write on it is school day and at home day, which is most days, because we really don't go out and do too much, but actually having it written out to where the kiddos can look at that, and especially now that they can actually like read and sound out the words, they know that it's just a school day and we're going to be at home all day, and they know that they can look on the calendar the next day and be like, well, this day we might go out and like do groceries or something like that. But just so they know what to expect and what's going on, I really want to be more intentional with valuing them as the people that they are, in the sense of I want to let them know what's going on ahead of time. Because typically every night before bed when we're tucking the babies in, they'll be like, well, what are we doing tomorrow? Like, that's their favorite question to ask. And so I wanted to be more intentional, about actually telling them a whole week out, like, this is what this week is going to look like for us, because I do like to know what's going to be happening for each week, and for my husband and I together also to be like, well, this is going on this day, this is going on this day, this is what we're going to be doing, and to include the kids in on that as well. And so that's what we're going to be trying to do more intentional this time around, is actually including them in our planning so they know what's going on too, so they're not asking every single morning what's going on. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I really appreciate you guys being here and watching. And if you haven't already, I'd love to have you join our family, and you can do so by subscribing down below. But until our next video, you guys have a good one, and God bless. Bye.